Right, and welcome to today's video. Today, as part of our journey on artificial intelligence and how we use Llama, I'm going to show you how you can run Open WebUI, which is like a little GUI that you can run on your machine that is like ChatGPT. We can see here in a little video or a GIF file. This gives you a bit of example how it's going to look like. And you can run this locally on a machine using your Llama modules. You can also connect your GPT-4 or GPT-3 API key as well on Open WebUI. Now, two ways we're going to look at it in the videos to come. The first video for today is we're going to look at Anaconda and how to set up Anaconda on a Linux machine. We're going to use my Ubuntu virtual machine to show you how to install Anaconda and how to create an environment with Anaconda. Show you a couple of commands what you can use within Anaconda. And then a separate video will install Docker and show you how to install Docker on your Linux machine as a GUI. I know you can use it in command line. We'll use both command line for Docker, and we'll also use the GUI for Docker on our machine. Then we're going to install Open WebUI onto our environment we created for Anaconda. And once we finish with that, we'll also pull the Docker image for Open WebUI into our Docker setup so you can use Docker. So what we're going to do first of all is we're going to go into Anaconda and we're going to download Anaconda. To get the free download, you see they say free download, head over to free download, put your email address in and submit. And that will allow you to take you to a page from where you can download the bash script for your Linux machine to install Anaconda. The file that's now downloaded, you can see it's down here from your browser. If you can see it in there, you can click on that little folder, show folder, and that will take you to your downloads folder. And you can see I've already got a copy down here, but I've just downloaded another copy of Anaconda 3 2024 0601, which is a June one. You can see that one was downloaded in February. So we know it's in our downloads folder. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy this file because we want to create the environments ultimately in our home directory. We paste the file in our home. There are two ways you can install it. The first way is to right click on the file, go properties, go permission, and make the file executable. And you can then run the file with permissions. What we're going to do is, I'm not going to select this. We are going into our command prompt terminal. So we look for Linux terminal because we're going to all have to learn how to use some commands. So we make it bigger. So if you're new to Linux, if you open your terminal and you want to know the path or the location where you're in at this point in time, you type in pwd. Hit enter, and that's going to tell me I'm in home mic. And my virtual machine user I call named it Mike, just so to differentiate between all my different virtual machines, who the different users are. So Mike over here in his home directory. Now we want to see if our file is actually there. So you can make a very basic command called ls, and it shows you all the file structure that's inside the mic path. What you also can do is you can do another ls command, ls minus al. Oops. Blindness about. And now it listed for you, and I can see what rights and what username is assigned to each file, so I can run the files. I can see this folder here is a root folder. I can see these are all assigned to Mike, and Mike has got the rights to all of these files. The file we are interested in is this specific one over here, is Anaconda. And it's rewrite. So what we can do is we can just do the chmod to change the permissions plus X, and we're going to say Anaconda. And once you type the first couple of letters in, you hit Tab key, it populates the whole file name for you. Once that is done, you hit return, and now the file has changed. Now let's clear the screen. Next to ls -al. And now we can see it's got executable rights on there as well. So now what we'll do is we're going to say sudo, we're just going to say bash that Anaconda. Just want to run Anaconda, so we want to run this script to install it. So you hit return. In order to continue the installation process, please review the license statement. Please press Enter key to continue. So you press return key. It's going to list the whole statement. I'm not going to read through the whole statement with you. You can either hit the space bar to go line by line, or you can hit the return key to go line by line, or you just hold the down arrow down on the keyboard and it takes you right to the bottom. Do you accept a license? Type in the word yes, not just a Y, yes, and then hit return, and then it will come and say press enter to confirm the location. Now my location, as you can see, is in my home Anaconda. It's the folder which is going to be created for me in this location. This is where I want to install my Anaconda environment. So I'm just going to hit return on this. If you have a different location or a different path, a different disk where you want to install your Anaconda environment to, you need to point it there. So in my case, I'm just going to hit press return or enter. And now we sit back, sip away that coffee you made a few minutes earlier, and pause the video and come back when it's done. Well, it's got another question for us here during the installation. It's asks us, you can do this by running conda init. So what it's done here is, do you wish to update the shell profile to automatically initialize conda? I'm going to say yes, I want to automatically initialize conda in my environment. You can say no, I'll initialize it manually afterwards by using the conda init command. For this purpose, I'm just going to say yes. Now that you've cleared your terminal, close the terminal down and go and reopen the terminal again. Once you reopen the terminal, you will see this base. Because we finish the conda installation and say yes to initialize conda, once you open a new terminal, it will initialize into base, which is the base environment for Anaconda. To see a bit more about Anaconda, we're going to go in typing conda. So from now, we're not going to use Anaconda as a command. We're going to use conda as the command, the short for version conda -version. That will show you the version code you just installed. If you do conda info, it should display for you your conda environment that you created, what your base environment is as well. It will show you there. It will show you also where your active base environment is active at the moment and where it's located as well for your base. If you want to see more conda commands, you just do conda -help, and this will show you a lot more commands. We will use conda create. We will also use conda activate. And if you have existing Python environments and you install conda and you want to export that Python environment into conda, you make use of the export command. There are various other type of commands that you can use when you need it. So if you want to remove specific environments you created, you can remove them. You can copy them. You can compare them with other configurations. We will must be use conda install as well for certain packages and some of the tools that we use in the videos to come. But this is just giving you an idea of how powerful Conda is. Next step we're going to move on to is we're going to look at how to install Open WebUI in a Conda environment. Now that we've got Conda installed, just clear the screen and let's minimize it. Terminal. We go back here to docs.openweb.ui.com, and there's some basic steps. We're going to install it in our Conda environment. This is not exactly all the steps we need to do, but I've got some notes for us to install Open WebUI. We can see the requirements is a Node.js 20.10 greater or equals to, and the same for Python. We have 3.11 that we need to install. So what I've done is here over here, I've done some steps for us. Pre-done in a little notepad. We're going to copy and paste the commands from here to install. Right, let's make a start of it. So we're going to move our nodes over here where we can see them. We're going to move to our terminal, make our terminal a bit smaller. Easier for you to follow along as well. So if we copy and paste, the first command we're going to do is we're going to do a pwd because we want to understand which is the location we're currently in. So we're in home and mic. And this is where I want to install my Open WebUI. And that's the path I want to get the information from as well. So I'm going to go to command over here, git clone. So we're going to clone from GitHub the repository to our machine. Now, if there's a brand new machine, you don't have Git installed yet, it's very easy. It's sudo apt install git. In this case, I've already installed it. I'm just going to run it. And this is now cloning a copy of Open WebUI to my local machine. Right, that is done. So we can now go on ls. That is now done. I can go to ls. To list to see what's in this directory. We can see we have our Open WebUI in this directory. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to browse into Open WebUI. Now, if you're familiar with Linux, you just have to type the first capital of letter in, hit the tab key, and it will auto complete your path or your file name that you want to go in. This is actually a folder, so we're browsing into our folder. So now that we're in our folder, we're going to create a Conda environment because we want to run it from the Conda, because we might have multiple different tools we want to install and run from this specific path. We're going to copy the following command, this Conda create -n. N stands for name. So if you don't want to use -n, you can use -name, Open WebUI. And we want to create a Python environment, Python 3.11. Because that is the minimum that is required. We can go for 12 as well, but for this purpose and just for the demo, I'm going to run it at 11. Hit return on that, and now we'll create a Conda environment. And we'll have all these packages for Python and pub and wheel, which will be built into this environment of Open WebUI. We can hit Y to say yes to continue, and now it will start installing and create our environment. Brilliant. Our Conda environment just finished installing. So what we can see, what is important for us, we have a new environment. It tells us Conda activate Open WebUI. So we're going to have that as our environment for the Open WebUI project. So we're going to copy that, and we're going to paste that, and we're going to hit return. And now you can see we're in our Open WebUI environment we created. Let's clear the screen. Next step we're going to do is we're going to do the Conda Forge. We're going to install Node.js. We're going to copy that. Right click and paste. The C is for the community, and Conda Forge is a community maintained version of Node.js that we're going to install. Hit return and have a sip of our coffee. There's a question we need to answer, and it's to proceed. So we can proceed so Conda and the Node.js can continue to install. We press Y, hit return, and now it's carrying on installing. We'll come back. Oh, you can see it's already installed. Nice and quick. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to run npm install 20, which was the Node.js package manager install version 20. So we're going to run that quickly. We can see that's already installed because I installed it previously. You see there are 176 packages needs funding, which means updating. So what you can do is you can just copy it in npm fund, copy that, right click, paste that, run that. It's always good. And there we can see perfect. The next step we're going to do is we're going to install. I'm just going to write the command correctly here before we start. Now, I've already installed it, so I'm not going to run it on this installation, but if it's a brand new installation, you're going to have to install your FM. Well, let's get that spelled correctly as well as a key. With your FFmpeg, which is the Fast Forward Mpeg, which is a powerful open source software suite to handle your multimedia data. You're going to need to install that for your, if it's a brand new installation of Linux you have. You're also going to need to install Unicorn, which is a asynchronous server gateway, which is the newer version of the old web server gateways that used to be installed. So you can install that now for you as well. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to run this environment file, and you're going to copy this, and you're going to say paste, because you can see we're still in our web UI file, web UI location. Just to show you, if I go here to files, and I go and I make sure I've got hidden file stick so we can see it, and if I scroll down, we're going to see in our web UI folder, in the root area, we're going to find a environment example file. This is the file we're going to copy. You can see I've already copied it. So if I just delete that for a purpose, so you can see we have that file in there, which is the environment example. We're just going to copy it over as well. So we're going to copy that because we're going to update and use that environment file as well. Right click, hit return. Now it's copied. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to browse into our backend because we set up our front end now. So did you go into the back end? We're going to do ls, list of our folder structure. We can see there's a folder called backend in Open WebUI. We can browse into it by using cd space back. And remember what I said before? Type a couple of letters, hit the tab key, and it should complete it for you. It finds it. Hit return. Now we're in there. Now we can do the ls. You can see this whole bunch of file. Now as we browse into CD backend, you can install your Unicorn gateway by pip as well. I've already installed, so I'm not going to rerun it. What I am going to rerun and install is going to be this pip installation for the requirements file. You can see the requirements file is there. For those people who don't know what is in a requirements file, if you use the cat requirements, this is all the Python packages that's required, which will import and install so you can run your backend using a Python pip imports and applications to make your backend function. So in our case here, we're going to copy this command in here. We're just going to right click, paste, because I'm well organized today. Sorry, the video is not very fine as normal. Copy, right click, paste. We're going to run this. Now, you'll find some of the packages already installed because I've run the script before on another environment on the same machine. So I should go quite quickly through this. But if it's your first time, it might take some time. Have a sip of coffee and sit back and wait for it to complete. Perfect. We now have our pip installation completed. I am just going to clear. Just browse back. Make it easy. And then we're just going to say cat out the .env file. Now, in the environment file, we can see Olama base UI allow this to. Now, if I right click on this and I open this in a link, I can see my Olama is already running. So I know Olama is fine. So I can talk to different packages I have. You have OpenAI API keys, which you can add in here. You have to add the URL, but you can do it via the GUI as well once we get onto the web page. And if you have Automatic 1111, which is Subfusion, Stable Diffusion, not Subfusion, Stable Diffusion, and you just have to unhash it. You need to install this manually. There's a GitHub repository for that to install that. That's completely separate. Right, now let's go and start up our Open WebUI. So let's ls. The next step we're going to do, which is part of our notes over here, is we're going to run this bash start.sh command. The start.sh command is a script which lives here in the back end. This is the back end server. This is actually going to start our server. So let's right click, copy that, delete what was in the history in the right click, paste. And then we're going to hit a bash start sh. Now this is going to load. Now you're going to say, so how do I get into Open WebUI? So on the website, there's a link here. It tells you that, it's now going to run, because you made use of the Node.js and Python installation, it will run on localhost port 8080. So if I open that in the new link, there you have it. Now you can see it runs on localhost authority, and you can see this is the sign up page. The next thing you need to do is you click sign up, and you're going to create an account for you here. I'm just going to call this test. I'm going to call this test at sweet-digital.com. And I'm going to create a password here called Moon. This is just a test machine. I'm not going to use this. I'm going to call this. Going to use that email address. If I ever lock myself out, I can email myself. I'm not going to use this account because I've got a different system I'm using. This is just for demo purposes. And voila, there we're inside Open WebUI. If I click on model, you can see I've already downloaded Llama 3 latest, and it's automatically picking up my Llama module. So I can now go and just ask a simple question. What is the best Llama module to use? And now you can see it's thinking, and it's now chatting to the large language model. It might be a bit slow because it's running on VirtualBox. It's now graphics card on here is making use of the virtual processor. So it's not aware of what Llama is. Llama, so it gives me a module which is sort of thinking its own thing, but you can go and prompt something better. What I'll do in another video is I'm going to take you onto my local machine where I have Open WebUI already installed and configured, where it's on a machine with a 3060 RTX 12 gigs graphics card, an AMD Ryzen 7 5800 CPU, and it's got about 96 gig of RAM. And we're going to have a quick look at that as in a later video. This is just to show you how to install it. Remember, afterwards, there's a lot of things you can come and do via admin panel and settings, and that will also come in a separate video later on. I hope you find this video exciting and interesting, and I hope to see you in our next video. If you really like the content I have shared, just give us a like, follow. There's information in the description in this video as well that might help you. There's also commands that will be available on my blog, how to install Open WebUI, and we'll build from there onwards. Thank you so much. See you in the next video.